Hello everyone, welcome. This is Miss Darling in the studio, and I am a mixed media artist and graphic designer turned junk journalist. Well, I should say collage journal. That's really what I make. It's more of an artistic journal using collage techniques of various sorts, and that's my specialty. So I welcome you. And I'm working presently on another boho journal, and so I have chosen this fabric for my cover. And I always make my covers from scratch, so that's what we're going to do today, and I'll show you how I go about it. I make all my covers from mat board. You know, mat board is what is used very heavily in the framing industry to, you know, add a border around artwork and give a, you know, a nice look inside the frame. And so my journals, in order to make it the easiest possible and to take advantage of the standard sizes that we have here in the USA, I always make my covers half the size of an 8.5 by 11, and that way too I get the most economy from the printed pages and even the coffee dyed pages that I buy. They come 11 by 17, which then divides down to 8.5 by 11, and so I make the most with the least, literally no throwaway. So I've just cut this in half. One side will be the front cover and the other side will be the back. And so I now need to make a spine. And instead of doing 2 signatures or more per journal, because I have so many journals on hand, and it really doesn't take that much to demonstrate the ideas for that particular journal, I have dropped back to just 1 signature per journal. And I can still get, you know, around, you know, a good number of pages. So I'm cutting myself a 1/2 inch spine. You know, so now I have a piece of mat board that's a little smaller than a full size. So I will use this repeatedly to cut spines out of. So now I want to take and put these all together. So I'm going to line them up with my grid, and I always leave about an 1/8 of an inch gap between them so they will close more easily, or close at all, because if you don't leave any gap at all, the thickness of the mat board won't allow you to close your journal. I think I'd like a little bit here, just a little bit more space there. Okay. If you have a white base, I recommend you have a white or off-white duct tape, because sometimes you may want to put a fabric or something on your cover that is thinner and slightly transparent. So if you have something, you know, non-white, something colored like black duct tape or colored, it's going to show through, and you don't want that. So always try to use duct tape that is as close to the coloring of your board. And I'm just burnishing this down, making sure that I kind of push it in a little bit into the groove there. And then we're going to flip it over and push these up. Now, there may be people who think that this is enough support to give the spine area. I don't. So, and I don't like it showing, you know, this looks sort of piecemeal back here. So I always will put a strip of the duct tape on the inside as well. None of this will show, particularly on the fabric that I've chosen for this journal, because it's very colorful and dark and not transparent at all. So we're just, you know, burnishing this up on the front. Okay, so now you can see that that bends quite easily. Okay, and it stays almost shut. This is going down a little better. So I'm going to make this my front cover and get our fabric on. When I purchased this fabric, I did not realize there was a stripe going across. I rather like that, but if I'm going to use it, it needs to, for best design, it needs to hit the journal cover vertically at precisely the right place. And so I'm going to wind up with less of this very busy design at the top, and then I'll have more of the larger part down here. So see, you know, my center is approximately here, and I maybe don't need to be quite that high. I'd like to get a little bit more of that on, but Yeah, I think probably about right there. So let's just kind of give ourselves a bit of a mark here. And now we'll open it up. And always I try to preserve as much fabric as I can. I'm going to leave about an inch all the way around. And just cut this, let's see. Now it's important that I get the stripe going across straight. I don't want it to be at an angle. So I better measure this. So if I'm going 2 3/4 down, then I want it to match up over here. 2 3/4. I think we'll come across here, and I'm going to cut a generous, leave a generous margin there. So I have some wiggle room if I need it. Okay. And I will use, bits of this fabric, say in a tassel, and bits here and there within the journal to pull it all together and let it be adhesive. Now, in order to okay, we're going this way, and the top of my stripe. Okay, let's set this on the grid. I'm going to put a little piece down there to hold it in place. Normally the fabrics that I use, wouldn't have something in the design that forces me to lay it in a specific manner. But, okay, so extending out here, that's where the top of my stripe needs to go. And on this side, they're coming out in there. So I need to pull the fabric up a little bit. Okay. Now, I'm going to use some clamps to help me hold this in place while I do some gluing, because it's so easy to have the fabric shift on you without you even knowing it. And this particular time, shifting fabric is absolutely what I don't want. See, just trying to get my clamp on it shifted way off base. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to pull the fabric back a little ways. And I'll be using my fabric glue. This is Beacon's Fabrifix. Don't put the glue on too thick, because then it can easily seep through your fabric and leave even though it dries clear, it does leave a bit of a mark behind. I'm just off by about 1/8 of an inch. Use the old trusty eye. Well, okay. Flipping it over, now we will be gluing the ends down to the inside, and I'm going to cut off a little bit here at the corner. This is a little bit too wide here, so we'll cut down on that a bit so we don't have as much bulk. This is all going to be covered over by whatever we do on the inside of the cover. I think as long as you have at least a 1/2 inch to fold over, you're in good shape. I'm going to take a little bit more off on here. All right, now start with your corners first. Always start in the center and then work out. Okay, see, if that was the front cover, the stripe is below the vertical. That's okay, because of where I positioned it. But I think I prefer having the stripe go across at the top. This didn't quite get as straight going across there as I would like. Well, I'm going to be putting some kind of ephemera focal points on this, and so likely that's not even going to show. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. I wish I'd gotten this side a little, just a hair higher. See, over here it looks a bit low. To my eye, anyway. But which cover do I like better? I'm kind of changing my mind, and rather than going above center, I think I like it better just slightly below. What's it look like back here? Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to make this my front cover. Most of the time you don't have a decision to make in terms of a stripe going across horizontally, but occasionally you will find yourself in this predicament and be willing to change your mind. If in the end you find that you like the back better than the front, go with the back. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I like kind of the idea of the bubbles floating down and having the busier section on the bottom. It adds a little bit more visual weight to it, I think, because of the busyness. And yeah, I think we're going to do this for the cover and that for the back cover. So now it's a matter of deciding, do I want to put a self-closure on it? Then I need to do that now before I do anything with the inside, and I think I would like to do that. These are not sufficient for that. So let's take a look at this. There's not enough color in there. So we'll bring this back and tear off a section There's my edge. So I think we're going to pull off a good ½ inch. Well, that didn't, you know, it sets itself up for correcting a poor cut. So we're going to go down one more time. All right, here's where I wind up pulling off a bunch of threads that I keep for future use. And if you haven't seen my video on how I use these threads in decorating other projects, you know, go take a peek at it. Find it listed in my playlist under, you know, decorating ephemera. I have a little bowl up there that I throw all my little odds and ends in that I'm not going to be using, but don't want them to get lost and accidentally thrown out. So I just toss everything in my little bowl there and then come back at a later point and clean it out. Okay, so I'm going to make a tie, 2 ties out of this. I need to go approximately that long. This end, the other end is squared off, so this end is going to be cut at an angle. And then I'm going to match the 2 up and cut one straight on the other end. And now open this up. I just sort of eyeball it, kind of where the roughly the center is. And I'm going to glue one down, face down. And bring my glue out a good inch. And glue one of the sections face down. That way then later it will be face up. And I want to make sure I get the other side. So I'm going to kind of do a rough marking in here where to lay the other end down. What did I do with it? Uh-oh. See how easy it is to lose stuff? This is not it. Where are you? There you are, hiding. Okay, I want the angled cut on loose. And so again, I put about 1 inch. Ugh, come on. I don't need that much. So right side down. Now I will cover the inside with either fabric or cardstock with some sort of design on it, and once that's all glued in place, these are not going to pull out, and then you've always got a closure there to tie off into a bow to hold your journal shut. So I'm going to have to do some brainstorming now to decide what I want to do with the inside, and I'm not quite ready to make that decision, so that'll be it for this video, and I will hopefully show you how I finished it all off in like a part 2, and so that will be it for this time. Thanks for being here and for watching this, and I hope you learned something and can go on making your own covers from scratch. I think it's very satisfying and fulfilling to be able in the end to say you made the whole thing, and I like doing that. And not that I have any problem with repurposing an old journal and kind of leaving the old cover there to be enjoyed, but I do like, since I'm in collage journals, I like making my own everything from scratch. And then I know my cover, the color palette, the theme, everything is going to lend itself to the subject matter on the interior for continuity's sake. Alright, be sure and visit my Etsy shop if you are in need of more resources. Have a lot of goodies there, and you'll find the link in the description box below. Would love it if you would give the video a like and share it. Leave me a comment, let me know what you're thinking, how you are in your projects. Ask questions, whatever you want. I'm really always very happy to engage with you. That said, this is Miss Darling calling this a wrap. Bye-bye.